Most Shopify brands don't have a growth problem, they have a brand association problem. And I scaled my brand from $0 to $90 million in 4 years. And here's the truth, most founders are pouring money into ads and CRO when the real bottleneck is brand association. Not logos, not colors, not followers, it's associations. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact 3-part system to turn attention into trust and trust into revenue. I'm going to show you what branding is, how it really works, so you can take your marketing dollars and multiply it further and not let it disappear. So the first thing we need to talk about is like, what outcome are we actually optimizing for in terms of brand, right? Because when we have a real outcome, then we can actually optimize towards it. And we want to optimize for brand power. And what's that? Well, that is your reach times your influence times your direction. Ooh. Meaning that how much reach does your brand have? How much influence do you have over those people that you're reaching? And in what direction they're buying your brand or not, right? That's brand power in a nutshell. And as marketers, we have to optimize for this if we're looking to actually grow our brand. And when we're looking to optimize this, we have to now talk about what is actual branding? How does branding actually occur? And that happens through something called the brand association system. And happens on 2 different layers and 2 different parts. First, your marketing. And then your fulfillment. So when we're looking to market our brand and also build brand value, it's about the associations that we create about our brand that are known and make them known. It's the mental real estate that we have in the consumer's mind, where they think and feel about the brand. And we build that through an association transfers. So think of it like this. You have your brand is here. And then this is the association that you're trying to make with the brand. And you don't start with any associations. You pair them with things that are already existing that consumers know about, right? The plain simple version of this is like, if you have influencers, they have a certain association about them, what they stand for, and their likeliness you're pairing with your brand to make people think and feel about your brand in a particular way based on that association you're making. Now, your job as a brand owner is to make marketing associations and pair them with your brand over time and time and time, where eventually, if you remove the associations, then they think about your brand as those associations. That's how branding actually occurs. But where a lot of people stop is at the marketing level. They don't think about the fulfillment side. And I would argue that more branding is happening at the fulfillment level than it is the marketing level. Branding occurs long after people buy your product. And to give you a bit of a story, well, actually, let's take an example like Prime. Prime was amazing at creating associations in terms of their marketing, right? They had the Logan Paul, KSI, then they got all of the biggest football teams in the world, like Barcelona, Arsenal, I think maybe UFC. They're creating all these associations, right? They're trying to make that they are the best hydration, drink in the world in terms of their hydration formula. They had more electrolytes than everyone else, and they're trying to create all these different associations and pair them with the brand to make it feel like, there was performance brand, it was premium, it was ethical and stuff like that. But then ultimately what happened, which was inevitable, is the fulfillment let them down. Hey everyone, it's Matt here, and I want to take a quick second to tell you about Ecomm Architects. Now, I have spent over $500,000 on coaching, and I wouldn't have been able to build our brand to $100 million without it. That's why I built Ecomm Architects. It's the most comprehensive e-com coaching program and community in the world, where myself and over 15 different mentors and coaches will help you scale your e-com brand so you don't have to make the same mistakes like I did. We'll save you time and money. We'll provide you all the SOPs, the playbooks on everything you need scaled to $1 million a month plus, including product development, creative strategy, CRO, Facebook, leadership, international market expansion, you name it, we've got it. I built this for impact, not for profit. So it's so affordable, there's no contracts, and we guarantee to increase your revenue in 90 days or your money back. Just click the link below in the description to learn more. People started buying the product, right? People started getting sick. Research started coming out at the ingredients, the efficacy of the formulation, and that ultimately ruined their brand. And I see a lot of brand owners today do this exact same thing. They're so focused on the marketing, acquiring the customer, and there's a dissonance with the fulfillment and their marketing, which inevitably ruins your brand. I had a friend also come to me, this was about 10 years ago now. He built a watch brand up to $20 million in revenue. And he was like, Matt, I'm struggling to build this into a real brand. Can you help me out? I'm like, sure. Went his website. I'm telling you now, like the marketing was top class. It was Rolex level. His creative team was absolutely phenomenal. Literally, I thought I was buying from Rolex's website. The renders, the detail, the positioning, it just felt so premium. So I bought the product, I got it in the mail, and what do you think I found? It wasn't a premium watch. It did not replicate the associations I made in my mind about that product in the marketing was not met in the fulfillment side, right? Because marketing will install associations and the fulfillment will reaffirm it, will reinforce it and turn into a belief. Marketing is association is what they think that it might be, and then the fulfillment turns into belief. And that's when the real branding happens. So be careful in terms of the marketing you're doing. And I see a lot of direct response, Shopify brands today are trying so hard to try and get that customer acquisition right. So they're creating certain associations, promises from a marketing perspective that are not met the fulfillment side. At Cure, we were very conscious of this day one because I understood kind of how branding works based on my past. And if you see any of our ads, we are not over-promising. We have a very strict compliance doc that says what we can and cannot say. Because the last thing I want to do is tell someone that use this product and remove, like some of our competitors, remove wrinkles in 2 weeks. What do you think that happens from an association perspective when they buy the product and they experience it? Will they buy again? Absolutely not. So even though we might take a hit short term, long term it's going to pay off because I'm building brand trust and brand equity based on the associations that are going to stick in terms of mental real estate in the consumer's mind. Now, the question is, how do you take this and operationalize it into your brand? So there's 3 parts process. The first one is choose 1 to 3 associations. 1 to 3, no more. If anything, depending if you're starting from 0 to 10 mil, do 1, maybe add a second one, 10 mil plus, and 50 mil, add a third one, as a rule of thumb. And a lot of the stuff I'm teaching you guys is just mental models and frameworks. Like branding, business is an art. I can't tell you exactly how to paint the Mona Lisa. You have to work this out yourself, what makes sense from a brand perspective. But in choosing 1 to 3 associations, it's going to make it easier for you to market because it requires a lot of resources to market one association that's a stick into the consumer's mind as mental real estate. Steve Jobs understood this well, even at their size, their resource level, their capacity. What did they do? They chose 1 association per quarter. The MacBook Air was coming out. They're like, thinnest MacBook of all time. That is it. 1 line across every different ad format, from print to media to TV, whatever it is. He understood the power of associations and installing that one thing into consumers' mind so they could remember it. And that mental real estate was ingrained. And that's what you as a brand owner have to think about. What are the associations we want to print into the consumer's mind that they will remember and stick? Because you're fighting against thousands of other marketing messages and you have to make your own stick. So pick 1 to 3, right? Now, and maybe some examples for this, let's talk about IM8, fastest growing supplement brand in the world currently. They did a very good job of this, right? They understood that by design or not, there's certain associations that are going to resonate with different types of customers. And they had huge financial backing, David Beckham, partner, etc. So they could afford to do multiple associations at once. But they have associations from a performance level. So they have athletes like the #1 tennis player in the world. They have David Beckham and other sports stars. Then they have associations based on the Mayo Clinic, one of the prestigious health clinics in the world, for people that are more interested in those type of associations, because different people are going to resonate with different associations. But they're trying to create a brand narrative where they have very clinical, ethical ingredients backed and formulated by the Mayo Clinic people. Then they have people who are using it, performance and athletes, right? So then they're trying to encompass all these different associations, and they're really intelligent in the way they do about the marketing. And the last one they're trying to push is that they're a premium product. And they do this with their price point. They do this with in terms of the packaging, unboxing experience, the taste of the product, all that. And they reinforce it with fulfillment. So the second part is, once you've chosen your associations, and example for Cure, to make it easy for you, it was very clear from day one, the association that I wanted to live inside consumers' mind when they thought about Cure was clinical treatments brought to home. That was it. That's all they thought about Cure. I knew I was winning. And in order to do this, we have to think about how we're going to market these associations. And the way you market it is, first of all, the message that the marketing does, right, has to be incorporated somehow, but also in what format and who is saying it. So we started pairing associations of key opinion leaders, doctors of the like, and pairing them with that message, that association we wanted to imprint into the brand over and over again, multiple different doctors. And we were trying to transfer the association of a well-renowned doctor who has incredibly goodwill with his audience based on education they've given them, helped them with skincare routines, and dermatologists and stuff like that. We're trying to pair that association over and over and over again, as many times as possible with many different types of people. And once we did that well enough, we could take the associations away and people just think of Cure as that brand. So that's the way we kind of did it, as one association. We obviously have a number of them, but that's just an example for you guys. And then that's the second part. You have to think about how you're installing these associations into your advertising. I believe there is a world where you can do both. You can market these associations and do direct response at the same time, right? You can do it if you're intelligent about it. So you can build your brand while acquiring customers at the same time. And what you'll start to note is that a lot of your marketing will go further if you're able to have a systemized, clear association you're installing in all the consumer's mind. And every time they see your brand, you have that association in there, right? Whether it's something a UGC influencer will say, a KOL, another influencer, whatever it might be, an image ad, a YouTube video, whatever it might be. If you're constantly pushing that association within the angles and avatars you're pushing, that's how you'll create that association in the consumer's mind. That are exactly what you stand for, and that will enhance they'll enhance the influence that you have over them, right, in the right direction when they're ready to buy. Step 3 is reinforce in fulfillment. We spoke about this earlier, but make sure that you're reinforcing through the fulfillment of what your marketing association is doing. I can't harp on this enough, otherwise you'll never have a brand. It's plain and simple. Right? You'll be exactly like Prime. You require customers for a period of time until they realize that your product is shit and you won't have a business. So reinforce their fulfillment. And if you can't reinforce the associations you're trying to make with the fulfillment, then choose another association. If we couldn't replicate a Cure, a clinic-like treatment at home, we would never win as a brand. Our ability to grow our brand was based on the associations we were making from a marketing perspective was reinforced with fulfillment. There's a certain expectation effect the consumer has when they buy their product. You have to meet that for the experience and the outcome of your product if you want to build a brand. So I hope you can take this model, think about your brand, what associations are you standing for, how are you marketing those associations, and how are you reinforcing this with fulfillment. If you can't reinforce with fulfillment, fix this first before you market. There's no point, you're just burning ad dollars. You're going to consistently find new customers, consistently burn and churn for customers, and your marketing dollars just won't go as far, and it'll be extremely challenging, tiring, and you just fucking hate your business, I think, in the end of the day. So there you go. There's a framework on how to build your brand and how to build brand power, which is reach, influence, and direction. Keep those associations paired consistently to form that mental real estate in the consumer's mind via these 3 steps. I hope this helped. If you have any questions about this or anything else that you need to learn, please put them in comments below. I'm happy to, I want to die empty by teaching you guys as much as I can. So let me know and I'll create a video for you.